Welcome back, everybody. What a week it's been in Reds country. We have rumors, we have staff changes, we have front office statements, we have a big night from prospects in the Arizona Fall League, and even the governor of Ohio is sharing his thoughts on the Cincinnati Reds. Today, we're breaking down everything you need to know from GM meetings, including Nick Krall's comments on Hunter Greene, the Reds' interest in Devin Williams, Spencer Steer's possible new role. The Reds hired a new coach. We got waiver claims, we got prospect information, and a whole lot more. Let's jump right in. Before we get into it, if you're here, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for being here. All right. So first off, we're going to get into the Hunter Greene rumors because, of course, there's a new rumor every day, it seems like. And Nick Krall recently came out and kind of addressed those rumors. So the Major League Baseball general managers meetings wrapped up this past weekend in Las Vegas. And after the meetings, Reds GM Brad Meador and president of baseball operations Nick Krall spoke to reporters. And yes, obviously they were immediately asked about the elephant in the room. That elephant in the room are the Reds considering trading Hunter Greene. From Krall's comments, it sure doesn't sound like it. Nick Krall told Charlie Goldsmith of Charlie's Chalkboard, that's a hard one to actually say, hey, we're going to do that. A guy who has a chance to be an ace of your staff. He went on to talk a little bit more in depth about it, but it basically sounded like the Reds are not going to go down that road. Maybe if they were absolutely blown away, but it doesn't sound like the Reds are going to trade Hunter Greene. Greene had a strong 2025 when healthy. He was 7-4 with a 2.76 ERA, a whip under one at 0.94, 132 strikeouts, and 107 and two-thirds innings. He made 19 starts for the Reds. Obviously, injuries once again played a role. He had a right groin strain, came back from that pretty quick, and then it bothered him again. He was about to go on a rehab stint. The Reds sent him to Arizona because all of a sudden he didn't feel good. It seemed like there was some tension between Greene and the organization. He did return after the All-Star break. He ended up starting game one for the National League Wild Card Series for the Reds. We all know that didn't go well. He gave up 5 runs over 3 innings. But despite the rumors, including Greene in trade talks, just feels unlikely. He's under team control through 2029 on a very team-friendly contract. And it just doesn't seem like it makes sense. Again, if you're blown away, maybe it does make sense, but you're not going to go get a pitcher of his caliber for what he's being paid anywhere else. So that's it on Hunter Greene. All right. The Reds apparently have showed interest in Devin Williams. Devin Williams was traded to the New York Yankees last season from the Milwaukee Brewers. Reds fans know him well because he absolutely dominated the Reds every time the Brewers faced the Reds. With Emilio Pagan hitting free agency, the Reds could hit the market for a closer. Krall said they maybe could look for that in free agency. It could also, give Tony Santillan a chance at closing. But according to Will Salmon of The Athletic, the Reds have expressed interest in free agent reliever Devin Williams. Williams is coming off the worst year of his career, 67 appearances with a 4.79 ERA with the Yankees, but obviously has a ton of upside. In Milwaukee, Williams was one of the best relievers in baseball. 241 games, a 1.83 ERA, and 68 saves. The question is the cost. I think somebody had out there that Williams could get like 4 years, $68 million. If that's the case, the Reds have no chance. They're not going to sign him. Again, I'm sure they did ask about him. I don't think the Reds are going to go sign Devin Williams. If they do have that kind of money to spend, they should spend it on a bat and not a reliever. But that is a rumor out there. It was reported, so I at least wanted to bring the fans up to speed on, hey, the Reds have expressed interest in Williams, and there was some back and forth there. Nick Krall also spoke about Spencer Steer. Steer obviously played a lot of first base in 2025. Spencer Steer's versatility has always been a huge reason he's been so valuable. But in 2025, he was basically exclusively exclusively a first baseman. So start out the year, he was dealing with that injury. So he had a lot of starts as the designated hitter, but then he made 117 starts at first base this year, 10 starts in left field, 1 start in right field, and again, 17 as a DH. He excelled defensively at first base, finishing as a Gold Glove finalist with 6 outs above average at first base. However, with Sal Stewart handling a lot of the first base load probably in 2026, it sounds like the Reds may move Steer around. Here's what the Reds general manager told Charlie Goldsmith at the GM meetings. We've talked a bit about Spencer being able to move back to the outfield a little bit more, maybe more around second base. That's something he likes to do. He enjoys doing it. He's also so good at first base. How we add to our team may change some of that. We could move some guys around. So while Steer can play many positions, first base is his only plus defensive spot. He's not a very good outfielder. He hasn't been very good at second base or third base. So you can be versatile with him, but he's really only above average at first base. So it certainly shouldn't be. That's their big move, making Spencer Steer an outfielder. So Steer, obviously, he had a solid offensive year, picked up late in the season. He obviously, like I said, dealt with the injury early in the season. He hit 238, 312, 411 was his slash line with 44 extra base hits, including 21 home runs in 2025. Again, his versatility gives the Reds a ton of options, but it shouldn't stop them from adding legitimate outfield talent. Running it back with the same lineup simply isn't good enough. All right, some more news. The Reds claimed former second-round draft pick earlier in the week. I'm probably going to butcher this name, but it's Ben Rortvedt. They claimed him off waivers from the Los Angeles Dodgers. He actually made the playoff roster. The 28-year-old was part of a 3-team trade at the deadline that also involved Zach Littell coming to the Reds. He appeared in 18 games for LA in 2025, slashing 224, 309, 327 with 3 extra base hits. Across his career, he's played in 138 games in the majors. He's played for the Twins, the Yankees, the Rays, and the Dodgers. He was a former second-round pick out of high school. That's Verona High School in Wisconsin. He was the 28th. I think he was the Twins, I believe, 28th ranked prospect. MLB Pipeline said he has excellent blocking and receiving skills and gets high marks for his ability to frame pitches and work with the staff. They also noted his quick release and ability to throw out runners, nabbing almost 52% of his base runners in 2019 and 38.7 in his career heading into 2020. This is a solid depth move. The Reds don't have a ton of good catchers in the system. Obviously, he's not going to be a guy that comes in and hits the crap out of the ball offensively. Probably not going to hit the ball at all, but solid defensive player, and it gives you some depth on the roster. All right, Kyle Schwarber, another guy that's gotten all the attention this offseason. Mark Sheldon recently spoke out on if the Reds have any chance of signing Schwarber. Schwarber, obviously, his name continues to be swirling. Reds fans, myself included, get excited when you hear he could come to the Reds, although I'm definitely in the position that he's definitely not coming to the Reds. The Reds are not going to pay him, but we'll keep going into it anyway. So here's Schwarber's comments back in July. Being a baseball fan and growing up and watching Cincinnati baseball for your whole youth, that's how you fall in love with baseball. I think it would draw your attention, right? Being able to play for your childhood team is something that I think it'd be awesome. He was incredible in 2025. He played in 162 games, slashing 240, 365, 563. He had 81 extra base hits, including a career high 56 home runs. However, Reds beat writer Mark Sheldon kind of poo-pooed the idea. He went on the Stone Shields show earlier in the week, and Sheldon said, I think it definitely drifts closer to Fantasyland. The only thing I would say is if Schwarber felt very sentimental, maybe if he wanted like a 1-year pillow contract. That is about the only way I see the Reds being in play. Once again, the issue is budget. It's a big bat. You'd put him right in the middle of the lineup, but it's a big cost, and the Reds aren't going to probably be able to afford him. But I'm going to proceed on that a little bit. So you have the guy who led the league in home runs last year, says he would love to play in Cincinnati. How many times is someone that leads the league in home runs saying, I want to become a Cincinnati Red? I would love to go play for the Cincinnati Reds. Never. You never have anyone saying that. And here you have somebody saying that. Here you have the opportunity to go do something. And the Reds are going to be like, we don't have enough money. We can't get it done. That is so frustrating to be a fan of a team that you have the major league leader in home runs or national league leader in home runs saying, I want to be a Cincinnati Red. I would love to go play for the Cincinnati Reds. And the Reds are just like, sorry, dude. Sorry, we can't afford you. Better luck next time. That's so frustrating, but that's my rant. We'll move on. Some better news. Andrew Abbott finished 8th in the Cy Young voting, which was a huge honor for Abbott. He helped lead the Reds to their first postseason appearance since 2020. He received a 4th place vote from Charles Odom of the Associated Press, and the Reds writers gave him some love. Pat Brennan from the Enquirer gave him a 5th place vote, and C. Trent Rosecrans from The Athletic also gave him a 5th place vote. His 2025 was the best year of his career. He went 10-7 with a 2.87 ERA. He made 29 starts and 166 in a third innings, both career highs, and he became a first-time All-Star. And if you remember, the Reds dugout went absolutely crazy when they learned he made the All-Star team. That was one of the cooler moments of the season. On Wednesday, 2 prospects shined in the Arizona Fall League. Alfredo Duno and Leo Balcazar played huge parts in the Javelina's 8-7 win in Game 1 of the Arizona Fall League playoffs. Duno was just 1 for 5, but he smashed a 3-run home run on a 3-0 pitch, I might add. It traveled 445 feet. He hit the ball 112.5 mile per hour. It was crushed. If you've seen it on social media, it was hammered. If you haven't, I encourage you to search Alfredo Duno on Twitter or Instagram, and you'll see it. It was hammered, and that's why he has a ton of upside. Leo Balcazar went 1 for 4, but he delivered the go-ahead RBI single in the 8th. And two pitching prospects also appeared in the game. Trevor Kunsel gave up 1 run and 2 hits in 1 and 1/3 innings, and Kevin Abel gave up a hit and struck out a batter in his scoreless inning. The Javelinas will play again on Thursday night at 6:30 Mountain Time. Reds minor league hitting coordinator Dave Hansen is leaving the organization for a job outside of MLB, outside of Major League Baseball to be closer to home. Charlie Goldsmith once again reported this move. Hansen has been with the Reds since 2021. He's coached for the Dodgers, the Mariners, the Angels. He played in 15 Major League seasons. He was drafted in 1986 in the second round, had a 260, 360, 369 slash line with 35 home runs over his career. Funny enough, he debuted against the Reds on October 2nd, 2005. The Reds will now search for a replacement. This role kind of is an important role for player development. It deals with the day-to-day development and day-to-day kind of plans for the minor league hitters. Here's a crazy one and a thing I'd never thought I'd talk about. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine weighed in on the Reds offseason. The Schwarber hype has reached the governor's office after Schwarber repeated his July comments about loving the idea of playing for the Reds. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine tweeted this morning, the Reds signing Kyle Schwarber would add power to the lineup and bring a Middleton native back to Southwest Ohio. So we're not the only ones that want Kyle Schwarber. The governor wants Kyle Schwarber. What can we do to make it happen? I don't think we can do anything unless the Castellinis fork over some money or Nick Krall begs to have the Castellinis give him some money. I don't think it's happening. But we even got the governor on our side. The offseason storylines of Schwarber and Hunter Greene continue to be incredible. And lastly, the Reds hire a new bullpen coach. They hired him on Thursday. His name is Oscar Marin. It could be Marine. I could be pronouncing that wrong. He was the Pirates pitching coach from 2020 to 2025. He was the Rangers bullpen coach in 2019. He's had minor league coaching roles from the in the Rangers and the Mariners systems from 2010 to 2018. He played college baseball at LA Valley College and then transferred to Arkansas Little Rock. So the Reds have had a lot of staff changes this offseason. Their new catching coach replacing J.R. House is Bill Hasselman, who's been with Terry Francona before in his career. J.R. House left to go to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I believe his main house is out there, so it lets him live out there year-round. Mike Napoli was promoted to the assistant bench coach. Brad Mills retired. So there's been a lot of moving pieces, but the Reds hired the Pirates pitching coach as their new bullpen coach, which seems like a pretty good hire. The Pirates had a pretty good pitching staff last season. So it's been a massive week for the Cincinnati Reds. We got front office quotes, we got trade rumors, we got roster moves, we got awards, we got prospects. We have the governor chiming in on Kyle Schwarber. You name it, we had it. The Reds, it's the off season, it's November, it's free agent season, it's trade season. We got it all covered here on Cincinnati Reds Daily. I appreciate you watching. And as always, we'll leave you with a go Reds and see you next time. See ya.